What's up, my loves? It's your girl, Erica V, and you are tuned into Freedom Podcast. Listen, today is June 19th, 2023, and I am so excited about what God is doing for Freedom Podcast. And do you want to know what the word is? Do you want to know what the word is? Well, the word for tonight is simply this. My seed of tears produced a harvest of miracles. Woo! Listen, I don't know about you, but when the Holy Spirit placed that topic on me tonight, listen, I was so excited because a lot of people, this is dedicated for my women today. This is dedicated not only for my women, but somebody that has been through several things and you feel like it's over for you. You feel like what you're going through is going to break you. You feel like you have hit rock bottom. You feel like there is nothing else left for you to do. You feel like you have done everything that you can. You feel like that you have dreamed every dream. You feel like that it's time to throw in the towel. You feel like that it's time for you to just get over your dreams, your goals. Let me tell you something. Baby, your seed of tears is about to produce a harvest of miracles. Listen, let me just tell you guys my story. I have literally been through so much, from having a broken ankle, going through mental illness, going through relationship drama, like getting my heart broken, just my confidence. All these different things that I thought my life was over, having vision problems in my right eye, and right now it's blurry. But guess what? I don't let that stop me from getting what I need to get from God. I don't let that stop me from having faith. I don't let that stop me from moving forward. I don't let that stop me from trusting in the Lord with all my heart. I don't let that stop me from giving God a worship. Listen. Your seed of tears will produce harvest. I don't know about you, but this message right here at this moment is dedicated to the woman that is going through things right now. You feel like their relationship has made you, sad, hurt. You feel like you can't go on. You feel like you're going through depression. You feel like you're going through anxiety. You feel like you're going through oppression. Let me tell you something. Even though you may be crying now, even though things don't seem like it's going right now, even though you don't see a way out now, the tears that you crying is being planted and is going to produce harvest of miracles, harvest of new beginning, harvest of, new jobs, new cars, harvest of, a new relationship, your husband. Let me tell you something. Don't give up the fight. Don't give up. But you will trust in the Lord with all thine heart. Lean not into your own understanding. So that means even though you don't understand the situation, even though you don't understand what's going on, even though you can't put your finger on it, even though you can't figure out why you're depressed, even though you can't feel why you feel like you have anxiety, even though you feel like the job that you're on isn't the job that you want, and you just going through on the job, let me tell you something. The tears that you are crying is being planted in the ground. You know the song that says, I got a seed in the ground. You have a seed in the ground. So those tears that you are crying, those things that you are going through, you're not going through it for nothing. The relationship problems, you didn't go through that for nothing. Let me tell you why. Because everything happens for a reason. The last relationship didn't work, so the new relationship could. The last job you got fired at, because the new job will be more than you could ask or think. The last friendship didn't work because God has to place you in the life in the hands of people who trust you, people that love you, people who support you, people that push you, people that motivate you. So what I mean is, don't allow your tears to be in vain. Don't allow your worship to be in vain. Don't just worship, but you have to trust God and know that God is going to see you through every situation. Let me tell you something. There was a time when I was going through, every time I came in contact with a new person, a new man in my life, I went through some things, y'all. And I'm going to tell you this because I have to speak the truth. I have to be honest. I went through something where my heart was broken so bad, where I felt like giving up. I felt like throwing in the towel. I felt disgusted with myself. I felt like my life, I just felt like I was at war. Like every other day is something. Family problems, job problems, relationship problems. And there was a time where I was crying all the time. And I was like, God, will this ever get better? Will I ever stop crying? Will I ever meet the man of my dreams? Will I ever be able to have a child? Will I ever be able to have the dream job, the dream business? Will I ever be able to have peace in my mind? Will I ever be able to have peace in my family? And there were days where I cried. A couple months ago, a lot of people didn't know, but I was going through a time where I felt a lot of loneliness. I felt lonely. Even though I had people around me, I felt lonely. But how many of you know that sometimes God would hide you because he's trying to have some alone time with you? Sometimes God will hide you. God will separate you from people so he can get you together. So he can stop allowing you to depend on people. Sometimes we depend on people when we should be depending on God. Sometimes we rely on people too much. When we're down, we're calling people. When we're happy, we're calling people. When we feel frustrated, we're calling people. When we feel like we're having anxiety attacks, and I'm not speaking on nobody's life and not on mine either, but I'm just saying, there are people that have anxiety attacks and have to call people. People that have, I have anxiety, and they use it, and they say it so much. I have anxiety, and I have depression, and I have this, and don't speak that over your life. Don't speak that, because when you speak it, you take ownership of it. I don't have anxiety. I don't have depression. I don't care how it may look. I don't care what the doctors told you. I don't care what they said when you went to the doctor. There's nothing else we can do. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart. That means trust in the Lord with everything within you, with your whole heart. Because when you trust God, you can't have doubt. When you trust God, when you say, I trust God, but it takes that whole thing away. Like it means nothing now because you put a but behind it. We don't serve a but God. We don't serve a God that he's going to bless me, but I trust him, but I believe God, but we don't trust the but God. So this means is, even though right now I'm having vision problems in my right eye, and people don't know because I don't speak on it a lot. Even though it seems like I'm having problems with this eye, I trust God. I trust God that even though I don't see a way out, even though the doctors have already told me what they're going to tell me, even though I go to the doctor, even though my vision seems blurred, I trust that God is going to see me through it. I trust God that even though I don't see a way, I trust and know that he already has a plan. God, let your will be done. Not my will, but let your will be done. Because when you say, God, let your will be done, that means I'm taking it out of my hand. That means I have no control of it. That means I'm giving it all to you. God, that means I trust you with all of me. That means I don't trust you with half of me, but I trust you with all of me. God, let your will be done. Not my will, but your will. Because I know if it's your will, then I know that it's best for me. So what I mean is, no matter what you are going through, you may say, Erica, I've been crying. I don't know what's going on. It's so much around me going on. My kids, I'm having a situation with my children. They're acting up in school. I don't quite have everything that I want. Just different things like that. But let me tell you something. Every tear that you have cried, every ache, every pain is the seed in the ground for your harvest. Sometimes God allows us to go through things to see how we will react in our waiting period, to see how will we react when things don't come when we want it to come, to see how will we react when, things don't go as planned. Just because God hasn't given it to you yet doesn't mean he's not going to give it to you. Just because God hasn't given you the car yet doesn't mean he's not going to bless you with it. Just because God hasn't given you your husband yet doesn't mean he's not on the way. Don't mean he ain't looking at you. Don't mean he's not looking at you from afar. Just because God hasn't given you your wife yet doesn't mean she's not observing you. Does not mean she's not watching you. Does not mean she's not watching the surroundings. Does not mean she hasn't already prayed on your behalf. Does not mean she's already asked God if you are her husband. Let me say that again. Just because you haven't got that man or your husband or wife yet doesn't mean that woman isn't already looking at you, admiring you. Maybe she didn't already pray for you. She didn't already told God, if it's your will, let it be so. But sometimes God is preparing us. You can't ask God for a big house when it's things you have to work on. God, let your will be done. God, if it don't come with peace, I don't want it. If it don't have your name on it, I don't want it. If it's not from you, I don't want it. Y'all, when I tell y'all I have been through some things, and my grandmother and my aunt and everybody else around me can vouch for me. When it comes to my business, everything. Even when it comes to your business and you feel like it ain't getting off the ground like you can. Let me tell you something. Last year, I started a cosmetic line. And it didn't go as planned. But I know that this year, by the end of this year, before the year is out, Bly Cosmetics will be back up and running because I trust God. I trust God, and I trust God that this time when he give it to me, I'm going to know what to do with it. This time when he give me the money, I'm going to know what to do with it. This time when he place people in my life, I'm going to know what to do with it. This time when I do it, it's going to be bigger. This time when I do it, it's going to be better. This time when I do it, I'm going to have more knowledge. So even though you're crying, even though you feel like it's so much going on in the world, I want you to know that God is still there. Even though you feel alone, God is still there. Even though you feel like you got hurt real bad by somebody, God is still there. When I tell y'all, there has been times where I have literally cried. And I'm not lying. I wouldn't lie to y'all. Literally. There have been times I have literally cried because I see other women getting married. I see other women with children, and I don't have any children. But I say, God, I know when you give them to me, he gonna be right. I know when you give them to me, he gonna be saved. I know when you give him to me, God, he's going to be everything I ever prayed for. God, I know when you give it to me, he's going to be a great father to our children. God, I know when you give him to me, he's going to be a prayer warrior. God, I know when you give him to me, he's going to know how to cover me. God, I know when you give him to me, he's going to know how to uplift me on days I don't feel like uplifting myself. God, I know when you give him to me, I'm going to be able to love him correctly. God, I know when you give him to me, I'm going to have my own finances in order. God, I know when you give him to me, my credit is going to be good. God, I know when you give him to me, I'm going to be able to pray for that man. God, I know when you give him to me, I'm going to be everything he can ask for, everything he's prayed about. God, I'm going to be everything to that man. So with that being said, a lot of us are so worried about, God, this relationship didn't work out. God, it didn't work out. And God is like, baby, he didn't cheated on you 96 times. He didn't hit you 12. He's not the one. He's not the one. He's not the one. A lot of y'all wonder, like, why my job, like everything on my job is going wrong, God. Why do I keep on having issues on my job? This is for me. You keep having issues on your job. You keep feeling like you out of place because that job ain't for you. You're supposed to have your own business. That was for me. That was for me. You wonder why even when you get on jobs, you feel uncomfortable. You wonder why when you're on a job, you feel out of place. You wonder why when you're on a job, you feel like there's more to life. There's more. I'm missing something. I'm not fulfilling my purpose. I'm not doing what God has for me to do. I feel out of place. I feel like I need to move. I feel like there's something more. There's more. There's more. There's more. That is because God said you are bigger. You are bigger even than you think. Sometimes we think too little of ourselves, and God wants us to think bigger. You think too little of yourself. When it comes to your relationship, you think too little of yourself. When it comes to your job, you think too little of yourself. When it comes to your dreams and goals, you think too little of yourself. When it comes to you pursuing your dreams, you think too little of yourself. When it comes to relationship with friends, you think too little of yourself. You feel like you too little when God wants you to go in the room with bigger people, people with dreams and goals, people who's going to push you, people who's going to motivate you. God wants you to go in the room with bigger. But you feel like you are disqualified. You feel like you don't have the right background. You feel like you don't have enough background. You feel like because you didn't go to college, you don't deserve to be in a room full of millionaires and billionaires. You feel like because you don't have the degree, you don't deserve to go in that room and handle business. And the gag is, you don't need a degree because you got who? G-O-D. Hello. Let me say that again. And the gag is, you don't need a degree because you got who? G-O-D. And that's period. So stop thinking less of yourself and come up in the mind. Let me tell y'all something. When I go in a room full of people, and I'm a Goodwill shopper, I'm a thrifter, they will never know. Because when I walk in that room, I'm going to walk with so much confidence because I know who is in front of me. I know who owns all of this. I know who's already given me all the knowledge that I need. Don't you know that sometimes you can take let me tell y'all something. You can take a test today and you ain't studied and God will give you all the answers to it. Hello. You can study for a test today and God will literally give you all the answers to it. So with that being said, you're wondering why I don't have the degree. Let me tell you something. Go fill out the application and trust and believe. Say, God, let your will be done. If it's your will for me to get this job, God, you let me get it. And guess what? Well, you have to take a test before you get hired. Okay, go get the test. Go get the test and I'm going to take it because I know I got God with me. Oh, how he walks with me. He walks with you. Oh, how he talks with me. He talks with you. Oh, how he tells you that I am his own. I am his own. That's my father. What do you mean? What do you mean I need a degree? What? A degree? Because I got G-O-D. I don't need a degree because I got G-O-D. And that's the biggest. They be like, I got a doctorate. I got this. Okay, I got G-O-D. You heard of them? You heard of them. I know you have. So with that being said, you have to literally remember whose you are. Remember whose you are. God is your father. When God is your father, I have no fear. God is my father. I have no worries. God is my father. I have no financial situation because God has everything under control. I may not have every degree, but I got G-O-D. As long as I got G-O-D, that's all I need. And when you go in there and you fill out an application and they ask you what degrees you got, you better put G-O-D on there. Hello. I got G-O-D and that's all I need. My God has power. You have to stop telling God about your problems and start telling your problems about God. Because we don't serve a little God. We serve a big God. So put some respect on that man's name. I don't serve a little God. I serve a big God. That is why I don't worry about jobs. That is why I don't worry about stress, depression, and oppression. That's why I don't worry about anxiety. That's why I don't worry about me not having things like everybody else, because I know that God has everything in store for me. He has everything planned out. He has everything. He already gave me. He already has the blueprint of it. He's going to give me the blueprint. I already know. Listen, yeah, you got a good car. Good. I'm proud of you. I'm happy for you. Thank you, Jesus. I'm so happy for you. But if God can do it for you, He can do it for me. If God can do it for them, He can do it for you. But the difference is, because you have people to say, God bless, He blessed the sinners too. He probably do. But let me tell you something. If God ain't in it, I don't want it. Let me say that again. If God ain't in it, I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it. Because people don't realize so many things come along with people like, oh, well, why so many sinners got this? And let me tell you something. So many things comes along with people getting cars and stuff and money, having money. Let me tell you something. If God ain't attached to it, I don't want it. You know why? Because when God is attached to it, peace is. When God is attached to it, paradise is. When God is attached to it, happiness is. When God is attached to it, wholeness is. When God is attached to it, love is. When God is attached to it, everything that you deserve is. But when you say, oh, them people got cars over there, trust and believe it. If somebody else got money and they don't live for God, I bet you they don't have peace at night. I bet you they don't sleep good. I can guarantee you that they are taking things to make them have peace, a so-called peace. I can guarantee you that they're on some sort of drugs, literally. I have met several people that were successful, and I said something when I met this guy one time. I said, I'd rather have peace. If the money don't come with peace, I don't want it. And if you think I'm lying, go look at the suicide rate and the overdose drug rate of people who were extremely successful. This should show you a lot of them took drugs. A lot of them, were doing things to make them get sleep. So with that being said, that lets you know that even though they had millions of dollars, that they didn't have peace. Even though they were billionaires, they did not have peace. So God, if you ain't attached to it, I don't want it. That goes for a man. That goes for a job. That goes for a career, my dreams, my goals, my next, my now. If God ain't in it, I don't want it. So I'm here to tell you to keep going. I'm here to tell you that although things seem unclear now, that God has it all under control. And if you guys are wondering what I'm looking at, I'm on my Freedom Podcast page right now. But God has some great things in store for you. Even though God told you he's going to do it for you, even though you feel like, God, you told me, you promised this to me, God, and the prophet told me this, God, and why hasn't it came to pass? Well, you have to make sure you're in alignment to get it. You have to make sure that you are doing everything in your power to be in alignment. And also, sometimes God is still working on us. Just because they say they're going to give, doesn't mean he's going to give it to you tomorrow. It's a process. Oh, God, the prophet said he's seen a house and a white picket fence, and me and my husband was on the porch, and he was holding the baby. Well, baby, it's a process. He didn't say you're going to do it tomorrow. You ain't even met the man. God, I got to meet him first. You say you seen a white picket fence, but I ain't even met him yet. Can I get the man first? Go on a couple dates and then we. So, just because God hasn't given to you right then and there don't mean he ain't going to give it to you. Relax. That's what I tell y'all every time. Relax. Because sometimes you can rush God, baby. You can rush into something you weren't even expecting. You didn't rush so fast. He didn't told you to go right. You didn't went left. Now you with Day. And you supposed to be with Lakeith. Well, so God, I'm going to wait on you. Even though you're crying, even though you feel like, man, I just ain't got the money that I need. Oh, trust God. Trust God. I tell y'all this all the time. I'm going to bet on God each and every time. I'm going to bet on God. You know why? Because God ain't never did me wrong. God ain't never steered me wrong. God ain't never gave me bad advice. God ain't never let me be around people that he know ain't mean me no good. God ain't never told my business. God ain't never gossiped about me. What I had on, how tight it was, how short. He ain't never done that. You know why? Because he sees my heart. So with that being said, you may be going through right now, but just remember, let me make sure I'm saying it right. Your seed of tears produced a harvest of miracles. You may not see it now, but miracles are on the way. You may not understand it now, but miracles are on the way. Things may seem foggy, but miracles are on the way. Right now, my eye may be blurry. Miracles are on the way. Things may seem off. Miracles are on the way. God, I'm hurt. Miracles are on the way. God, I got some life-changing news. Miracles are on the way. God, they told me I only had a few days to live. Miracles are on the way. God, I'm depressed. Miracles are on the way. Miracles are on the way. And then I heard the Holy Spirit say, help is on the way. Help is on the way. God, I've been looking for a place to live. I'm homeless. Help is on the way. God, there's so much going on. Help is on the way. So the next time somebody say, girl, what you gonna do about this? Help is on the way. Girl, you need to help is on the way. Help is on the way. Help is on the way. Girl, what you have, baby? Help is on the way. Help is on the way. Help is on the way. It's already. Because I'm going to tell you something. People, when you stress and depressed, people keep bringing up the same stuff. So what you going to do about it? Help is on the way. We ain't going to talk. Help is on the way. Understand who your God is. My God can do exceedingly abundantly above all that I can ask or think. So what you thinking is a tiny percentage of what God can do. What you asking God to do is a tiny percentage. If God can heal the woman with the issue of blood, and she dealt with it for years and years and years, he can do it for you. If God can heal a blind man, he can do it for you. Do you hear me? God can do it for you. So don't get weary in well-doing. Okay, Holy Spirit. But you guys, I love you. And just know, help is on the way. Miracles are on the way. Watch what I tell you guys. Today is June 19th, 2023, Monday. Miracles are on the way. Miracles are on the way. I want you guys to inbox me or leave a comment on the video and say what you are expecting God to do. Or you can just put, miracles are on the way. I love you guys. Tune into Freedom Podcast each and every Monday at 7 p.m. Central Time. Listen, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, honey. I am on YouTube. Subscribe, Freedom Podcast 901. It's your girl, Erica V. I'm so thankful for you guys tuning in with me. I love you. You guys have a blessed day. Be blessed.